In a second, that looks like a good-sized plane came in and hit the World Trade Center from the other side. So this is obvious.
These acts of mass murder were intended to frighten our nation into chaos and retreat. But they have failed. Our country is strong. A great people has been moved to defend a great nation. Terrorist attacks can shake the foundations of our biggest buildings, but they cannot touch the foundation of America. These acts shatter steel, but they cannot dent the steel of American resolve.
The events that occurred on September 11, 2001, symbolize a new era of American government and American society. On that fateful day, nearly 3,000 people were killed and another 6,000 were injured by unthinkable acts of terrorism. That day will forever be ingrained into American society as one of the worst moments in our history. Within a matter of hours, the United States was thrown into complete chaos. We were left with nothing else to do than to rebuild. We had to rebuild in order to restore the people's faith in government, their faith in security, and their faith in humanity. As a response to these national security issues, the United States government created the Transportation Security Administration in order to prevent any other acts of terrorism from occurring within the United States. The TSA was created after the Aviation and Transportation Security Act was passed into law, which symbolized a complete change in the way we approach and conduct security for our nation's air transportation system. Americans now saw themselves having to accept a new reality, one where everything is searched and people are randomly checked. In the name of security, people would now be asked to give up some of their personal freedoms in order to protect our country. The mission of TSA is to protect the nation's transportation systems in order to ensure freedom of movement for people and commerce. TSA oversees highways, railroads, buses, mass transit systems, pipelines, and maritime travel. However, they are most heavily known for their aviation security. In 2014 alone, TSA screened more than 650 million passengers. This amounts to nearly 1.8 million people every day. Every single one of these people is capable of posing a threat to this country. In order to fully accomplish their workload, TSA is given an annual budget of $7 billion and it has around 60,000 employees. However, with a $7 billion budget, can we confidently say that TSA has been properly doing its job? In 2014 alone, TSA screened more than 443 million checked bags and nearly 1.7 billion carry-on bags. In 2014, 2,212 firearms were discovered in carry-on bags at checkpoints across the country, averaging over 6 firearms per day. Of those detected, 83% were loaded. There was a 22% increase in firearm discoveries from 2013's total of 1,813. In the same period, more than 1,400 firearm components, replica firearms, stun guns, and other similar dangerous objects were discovered by TSA in carry-on luggage. And according to TSA, this was a great year. So if this was a great year, let's look at what a not so great year looks like for them. In 2013, a Minneapolis boy who ran away from home was allowed to board a flight to Las Vegas. This 9-year-old boy simply hopped on the Delta flight without a ticket and without being stopped by any TSA agents. That same year, a Frenchman was arrested for impersonating a pilot and reaching the plane's cockpit at a Philadelphia National Airport. After being denied a seat in business class, the man boarded the plane and simply told the crew that he was a pilot with Air France. And just like that, he was allowed in. I wonder how often cases like this occur. Then there was the 2013 airport shooting, where a gunman walked into Los Angeles International Airport and pulled out an assault rifle, killing a TSA officer at a security checkpoint and wounding 2 other TSA officers. Earlier this year, a man with a machete and wasp spray, who also had a car containing smoke bombs and gas cylinders, was able to bypass TSA agents and proceeded to attack a security area at the New Orleans airport. But these aren't limited one-time incidents. These types of incidents have been occurring since the inception of TSA. Over 100 audits have been conducted identifying major security vulnerabilities throughout TSA. The most recent one, conducted this year, found that TSA passenger screenings failed 96% of the time, and that 73 aviation workers have potential ties to terrorism. During this audit, undercover TSA agents attempted to bring in guns and bombs through security. After the findings of this audit came to light, the acting administrator of TSA, Melvin Caraway, was removed from his position. The TSA has been failing these sorts of tests since its inception. Failures in 2003, a 91% failure rate at Newark Liberty International in 2006, a 75% failure rate at Los Angeles International in 2007, and more failures in 2008. The sad truth is that these failures have only worsened instead of improving. When compared to allowing 96% of contraband weapons to be snuck in through security, stopping an average of 6 guns a day is pretty useless. Security incidents aren't the only thing that is alarming about the TSA. Their policies are also very alarming. For example, let's take a look at the TSA's visa waiver program. The visa waiver program allows nationals from certain countries, many of which are in Europe, to enter the United States as temporary visitors for business or pleasure without first obtaining a visa from a U.S. consulate abroad. Concerns have been raised about the ability of terrorists to enter the United States under the visa waiver program because those entering under the VWP undergo a biographic rather than biometric security screening and do not need to interview with a U.S. government official before embarking to the United States. Theoretically, a Syrian terrorist can enter Turkey, then make their way to Germany, and then board a plane to the U.S., all without ever being properly screened. Another TSA policy that has recently come under scrutiny is the use of risk-based security measures to identify, mitigate, and resolve potential threats at airport security checkpoints. According to TSA, this approach permits them to provide expedited screening for trusted travelers and to focus on high-risk and unknown passengers at security checkpoints. But what exactly is a trusted traveler? And can't a trusted traveler theoretically turn into a not-so-trusted traveler? How can TSA claim that this policy is improving their security, when the truth is that their failure rate rose to 96% this year alone. Representative Rogers is right. We do expect better from TSA, but they have constantly let us down. When will we say enough is enough? The recent terrorist attacks lead me to believe that TSA will be in the limelight for the following years to come. Public pressure will lead to TSA being completely restructured in order to ensure proper security screenings. I don't believe that high-risk security screenings will last much longer. Recent events have taught us that anyone is capable of posing a threat to national security. In the following years to come, I see stricter screening procedures becoming a norm. The question will then become, to what extent should our civil liberties be compromised in order to obtain national security?
Our country is strong. A great people has been moved to defend a great nation.